Hello and welcome to the channel. I just wanted to start the video off a little bit differently today. First of all, to say thank you to all my subscribers. I've got over 2,000 subscribers now, and in all honesty, that is pretty amazing. A couple of years ago, I never would have thought I would actually have had a YouTube channel, so it is still quite strange telling people that we film our work and I'm going home editing. My daughter likes to tell pretty much everyone that I'm a YouTube star. Unfortunately, I'm not earning that sort of money like Mr. Beast, but we're doing it for the fun. So thank you very much. If you're one of those people who are still watching and not subscribed, feel free to click that subscription button. And the other reason why I'm starting this video off a little bit differently is because it's all change in my business. So unfortunately, also excitingly, Bailey is no longer with me. He has gone full-time self-employed. Now, we are still going to be working together, but just not on an employment basis. So, for those of you who don't know, Bailey, who you quite often see pop up in my video, and to be fair, does a lot of the work that you see, because I'm obviously the one holding the camera most of the time. He's been with me for coming up to 7 years. He started off as an apprentice with me. But now he's fully gas qualified. He's got his oil, he's got air source qualifications, unvented, water reg. So I've given him the full shebang, and he's been a brilliant apprentice. He's now 23 years old, I believe. Sorry, Bailey, I've got that wrong. but he is a very good plumbing and heating engineer. And like I did when I was an apprentice, eventually you always part ways. So the thing I'm most happy about, it was a mutual decision, so financially it made sense. For Bailey it made sense. He needs a bit more freedom, so he's not just being where I tell him. And like I say, he's been amazing. I don't think he ever had one sick day, and for those of you who are thinking about being an apprentice, that really is something you should look to achieve yourself. So not one sick day, hardly ever used his holiday. Almost had to force him to take holiday, and he was, and still is, really, I don't know what the right word is really. He's just very, I can't think of the right word. I'm going to edit this bit out and cut to it. But no, he's always been very professional. He's always really enthusiastic, and he's always pushed himself to learn more, understand more, and also just be the best plumbing and heating engineer he can be. So Bailey, I know we've already spoke about it plenty of times, but I wish you all the best, mate. And today is the first day I'm coming to meet you. I'm coming to meet Bailey with him being self-employed in his own van. So like I say, we're still going to work together on the slightly larger jobs. And again, it's also exciting for me because for 7 years I've always had that safety net, I guess, of someone to work with. But now I'm going back pretty much by myself, going back to hopefully take on some smaller jobs that maybe perhaps I used to say no to. So I'm excited about that. So anyway, for today's video, we are going to be unusually taking out an unvented cylinder and system boiler in the loft and actually putting in a combi boiler. Now, normally we do that the other way around, but this customer, they are a little bit afraid of having a leak in the loft. So although that can still happen with a combi boiler, as you'll see in a bit, there's a lot of pipework, a lot of componentry in the loft, which unfortunately recently has started to begin to fail, and they just want everything in one box under one warranty. So we're going to be taking all the cylinder and all that out. All the pipework and everything is pretty much there, so it should be fairly straightforward, probably just a couple of days work. And we're going to be fitting a Viessmann 050 or Viessmann 50, 35 kilowatt, so yeah, it should be absolutely fine. Okay, so we're up in the loft of a bungalow, and this is today's job. So as you can see, we've got an unvented cylinder there on the left and a system boiler over on the right. Now, unfortunately, the customers had quite a few leaks coming through the ceiling, etc., and they've kind of lost their confidence with this setup. Now, I must admit, it's not too bad in terms of the plumbing and everything. I'm pretty sure the old owner of this property was a plumber, so in terms of the pipework, it's not too bad. It's definitely not the worst we've ever seen. But like I say, the customer, they just want peace of mind, so they've asked us to install a combi boiler with good warranty, decent flow rate. So we're going to be stripping this all out today and reorganising the pipework to suit the new boiler. So I'll just show you what we've got here. So the central heating at the moment, it just runs off of one zone, which just comes off this zone valve here. So this is going to be our central heating flow. We'll then just need to identify the return. I'm pretty sure everything's all marked up by the previous plumber, so we'll double check all that, but it should be a fairly simple job. It's pretty much just stripping it back and organising the new pipework to suit the new boiler. So the current boiler is a Remeha Avanta Plus, I believe they're called. So I've spent a lot of my time repairing these. If any of you have come across these, you will know they're quite problematic. I don't even think they make them anymore, but I could be wrong. So what we're going to do is just take this boiler out of its position, put the new Viessmann combi boiler that we're going to be installing in the same location, and then just alter all this pipework to suit. Right, let's get this all stripped out then. So what we've done is we've isolated the cold water main, we've isolated the electrics, made sure the electric's all safe, and all I need to do now is just get it all cut out. So what we want to make sure is we don't cut the pipes back too far to where we need to join on. So obviously we want to still make it look nice and neat. So we'll cut these back to a point where it's going to look decent for the combi boiler install. Like I say, but all of this is all coming out. So yeah, let's start cutting it out. Let's start up here. So the boiler that we're going to be putting in is the Viessmann 050. Now the reason I've gone for that model and not the 100 or the 200 is because it's in a loft. The customer's never really going to be able to access the display panel on it. So the 50 is still a really good boiler, but the only thing it probably does lack is that user interface on the front. But because the customer's never going to be up here, it doesn't really matter. So it's a decent workhorse of a boiler, and you can still connect it to your app. So I believe the 50's got about 14 litres per minute flow rate, so it's still fairly decent. You should still get 2 showers from it, I would say. So yeah, it should hopefully not be too noticeable that we've gone from an unvented to a combi boiler. With that, we're just going to be adding the filter, scale reducer. Obviously we're going to be flushing the system and everything. So yeah, there's going to be a lot less componentry up here. Customer's going to be happy that all the components have the warranty, which I believe you can go up to 10 years on the Viessmann. And well, hey, yeah, we can bag up all this copper and get out of here. Right, we have got the old system pretty much all taken out now. So I was wrong, it was Bailey who marked up all these pipes here. So he had got these all prepped, ready for us to pipe up into the boiler. So it's made the job pretty simple now because everything's already up here. It's all nice and labelled. So we've just got to run the pipes into the boiler. So got quite a nice clear space. So we're leaving the condense pipe in place. On this Viessmann boiler, the condense and the PRV are combined. So we've actually lost the PRV, or the copper PRV altogether. This pipe here that's remaining, that's the gas supply. So I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, but we'll probably cut it back and run it in line with the rest of the pipes. Or if it works out, we'll just leave it where it is. And what we've done is we've just used some timber that was actually up in the loft, which was pretty handy, screwed that to the wall and just mounted the new boiler. So like I say, this is the Viessmann 3550. We fitted a few of these before. If you want more of an in-depth review on this, then I'll leave a link to one of the videos we've done previously. So we're using the exact same flue location, so it's pretty much quite a straightforward, simple job. other than we just got to run all these pipes into position. So what we'll do is we'll get all the isolation valves and the flue on, and then we can begin to get it all piped up. Right, now we've got the isolation valves on the bottom of the boiler. We're about to start piping this up. So we're going to be using press fit today, mainly to do a comparison between my old school Rems press gun. So I've got the Rems Mini. This is the second one I've had. I've probably had them in total of about 8 years, I would say. So before they were popular, I was Mr. Cool with it. But Bailey, he's bought himself this new Nova press. Now, I must admit, when he said it, I was thinking he was making the wrong decision. But now that it's here, it's actually quite nice and slim. Seems a lot easier to use. And one thing Bailey just told me is sometimes when I'm pressing a T with my jaws, you can't actually get it in tight enough. So you're almost like hitting the other side of the fitting. Whereas his ones, you can actually fit on there nice and easy. You're not disturbing the actual pipe or the fitting as you're pressing it. The other bonus with his one is it takes the Milwaukee 12 volt batteries, so I think mine's 18 volt, that version. I think they're similar in money, but you can see the difference in the design. One's, obviously my one, the Rems one's got the right angle and this one's straight on. So what we're going to do is we're going to use them both and then see which one seems to work out a little bit better. But anyway, let's get this pipes up. Okay, so we've got the boiler all piped up now. As you can see, it was fairly straightforward, just straight pipe runs, kept it around the perimeter. One thing I do like about this boiler is the condense. It's combined with the PRV, so although it doesn't look great, I must admit, the flexible hose is easy to connect up, and then that just goes straight into the existing condense pipe, and then that goes straight into the soil pipe. We've added a Advantage magnetic filter and the Advantage scale kit. We're going to flush it all out, obviously clean the system, but that's just for future protection. So Bailey's wired up the thermostat we're going to be using. So we've connected it up to OpenTherm and we're using an ESI Touch programmable room thermostat. Now on these 50 Viessmann boilers, you've got to be careful when you wire up the OpenTherm. So on the top here, when you connect it up, the actual diagram next to it is wrong. So rather than connecting it to 1 and 2, you need to connect it to 3 and 4. So that had us stumped a couple of times, but I've spoken to Viessmann and that is right. There's just a manufacturing defect. But other than that, it's all wired up and it's good to go. So when you first fire up these boilers, you're going to have the AP signal. Basically what that means is it's ready for commissioning. Now I like to commission these via the app on my phone, so I can connect it up by logging onto this QR code here, go through the app and then just go through all the settings, all the parameters. And once that's all done, the way we've wired this up with OpenTherm, the customer should be able to control not only the heating but also the hot water temperature via the thermostat. So that's ideal because this is going to be located downstairs, and obviously the boiler's in the loft. So I'll get this connected up to my phone and get this all commissioned. Okay, so I'm about to connect up to the boiler to carry out the commissioning process. Now I'm just using my Android phone. You can use it on Apple as well, and it's the V-Guide app that you need to download from Viessmann. So once you've got the AP symbol on your boiler, you need to go into the app. Once that's opened up, just click on New System. You can then scroll down to which particular boiler series it is. Has the boiler already been commissioned? No, so I just need to start commission. And you can see here it's going to allow me to scan the QR code. Now the QR code on the 50 is this one here in this little packet. So sometimes you can get caught out and scan the QR code that's on the front of the boiler, and that's not actually the right one. So if I just scan this now, there you go. So that's just started connecting to the device. It'll come up with a Wi-Fi sort of login. Click on that, and then you can say it's connected straight away. So the boiler itself actually gives off the Wi-Fi signal. When you're commissioning the boiler, you don't actually need to connect onto the homeowner's Wi-Fi at all. So click on continue, and then that's going to take us through basically all your commissioning process. So should the filling be started? So we've already done that, but let's just click yes. Now what I want to do is carry out like an air purge. Basically just shunts the pump, bleeds all the central heating out through that air admittance valve. You can see here that our current boiler pressure is actually quite low, 0.4, so we need to top that up. So I'll do that now quickly. So this boiler has a built-in filling loop which is underneath. So it's just a case of quarter turning them, bringing it back up to the green. So same as any other system, you want it between sort of 1 and 2, 1.5 ideally. And as I'm filling it, you can see, or if you can see that on the phone, it's actually providing that information really quickly. So as I'm filling it, the app's recognising it, and now you can see, look, it's turned green. We've got the ideal range on it. So let me just shut that off. Okay, so that's totally fine. I'm gonna go back and click continue. Start venting. I'm just gonna say no because we've had this pump running for a while now. And then straight onto basic configuration. So on here, there's a couple of things you might want to change. So if you're using weather compensation, you might want to select that. We're just using basic control flow, open firm. That's right, isn't it, Bailey? Control flow, control open firm, yes. Okay. So because we're using open firm and we've connected that to open firm capable stat, I just need to change that on this top section here. And then the other stuff is pretty basic. You don't, if you had a long flue, you might want to change that there. Just continue through that. It's going to do a flue gas sensor check. So usually once you do this the first time round, you won't need to do it again. But just bear in mind, you probably need to have it purged through. So you might need to reset this and do it a couple of times. Okay, that's our flue gas temperature sensor check done. So as you can see, that's come up with a green tick, so I can carry on. Are the electrical components installed and connected? Yes. And then on here, you could, if you wanted to, add any additional heating circuits, change your domestic hot water mode. Obviously this is a combi boiler, so we're all good there. Hydraulic separator not installed. And then you've got your additional settings. So let me go into there. So that basically allows you to change your heat curve temperature levels. You can set your maximum minimum flow temperature setting. So if you was running this at a low flow temperature, for example, you had all your radiators set up to a low delta, then you could have that all set up. So I'll just go into that quickly, although I don't think we're going to be changing anything on this one. Okay, so heating circuit name, I'm going to change that to zone 1. So there is only one zone on this system, so There you go. And then as you can see, you've got our minimum and our maximum flow temperatures. Now you can, if you want to, change this, but because we're going to be working off of open firm, I'm not actually going to alter it at all. But like I say, if you was running a low temperature system, you would change that right down. Okay, so on here you can see you can set your interval timers, etc., how long till the next service. Don't need to do that. Okay, so commissioning is successful, we've got the green tick, and then once I push finish, what should happen is that AP symbol should start to disappear from the boiler, and then it's good to go, good to operate, and then from that point you can carry out all your flue gas analyzer checks, gas rates, and any other safety checks you need to do. Okay, so that job is a wrap. I had a bit of a problem at the end, I'm not going to lie, but the guys at Viessmann were very, very helpful. So what had happened was I'd set up the Viessmann app for the customer so they could access the boiler, and once I'd done that, I was running central heating, but the diverter valve kept closing off, so it was almost just like switching to domestic hot water mode. So first of all, I thought maybe there was a hot water tap dripping, but there wasn't. I was then starting to suspect that the diverter valve was actually faulty. Luckily it wasn't. So when I spoke to Viessmann, it took them a little while to work it out, but those boilers are so clever and so smart. They could access it directly from where they are, change all the settings on the boiler, and in the end all it was because I'd set up the app on the phone, there was just some sort of miscommunication with the gateway, which they then reset and rectified their end, and then it started working totally fine. So yeah, I was there for about an hour trying to figure out what I'd done wrong, but it's all up and running now. So anyway, thank you very much for checking out this video, hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully see you on the next one.